Can everybody hit me out there? Sure, everything's all right. Oh yeah. Let's get a couple people to watch this. Join. All right, we're gonna have a lot to talk about here at Round One Sports Talk. Um, so let's get right into the episode. What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. So, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. ESPN released a statement regarding into the Naoya Inoue and Luis Nares up and coming fight in May. Now they haven't really put out an official date yet on the fight, but the fight, itself, it seems that, all participants are in agreement. It seems like the deal has been final, right? It's more about the venue and getting everybody and flying in hotels, allowing the people that need to know enough time so that they can book around the events, because Japan has a lot of things going on, over there. And when you're putting an event at this kind of magnitude, they want to get everything right, and they want to maximize on everything, on every fight that the Japanese superstar is fighting. Which now there are speculations and more rumors saying that the Saudis are interested in the Japanese superstar. Now, whatever 10 billion yang is, which sounds like a lot of money, whatever that translate over into American money, the amount that they're saying makes me second guess it, because they're like somewhere in the range of $69 million. And if that was so, he would technically become the face of boxing at that point. Not until I actually see them pay him that much money. But, Canelo hasn't made that much money in this era. I'm not judging him or comparing him to, like, everybody else, like the legends, Floyd, anything. I'm talking about numbers today where it counts, And if he's like, estimated that they want to give him 69 million to fight out there, and that's if that they're accurate on their number on that, whatever that translates out to, then that's what they want, If he's successful against Luis Nares, Pantera, let's just remember, I went back and I saw a couple interviews with Luis Nares, right? And I wanted to see where his mental game was and what he thought of the Japanese superstar. Now, on many occasions, when you're trying to lure a fighter to you'll say anything, to get him. But when you catch the fighter in that moment of honesty, right? And you ask him, what do you think about the Japanese superstar, right? Now, Pantera said a few things, but most importantly, he knows what he's talking about in the fight game. He understands that he has a plan A and a plan B in a fight. He understands that if need to, he's willing to make adjustments in the moments in the fights. That he acknowledges that about a fight plan. So he knows about preparation, and his team is aware that they don't fight every fighter the same way. And that's good to hear him say and acknowledge, because at least you know that from him. You see, there's one thing in life that when they could say something about you, if you didn't know, you didn't know. How could you be held to that or accountable for something you didn't know or you weren't aware of? Am I right? So I believe that Luis Narez, his team, knows exactly who they're dealing with. At this point right now, the entire world knows who the Japanese superstar is. If the Saudis want to pay to see him, he's slowly becoming that global superstar many of us thought one day he would become. Look, when this fight was announced, my spider senses went off, for many reasons. But at the same time, it was one of the things that I was preaching in regards to the Japanese superstar, meaning, I said it, I would like him to stay at 122 and make a defense of all 4 belts. Did I not say that? Right? Okay. So I wanted this. The opponent is what kind of, took me a little back, because I just thought that there were bigger storylines and bigger name opponents you could have got for this fight, right? Believe it or not, and it pains me to say this, okay? It kind of pains me to say it, but Casamara's storyline would have been bigger than Luis Narez's. Am I right? If you guys agree with me, can I get a round 1? Can I get an R1 if you agree with me on that? I'm not saying that Casamara would be a better fighter because of his health condition, but I'm just saying of the opponent that they picked, that it kind of took me back that it was Luis Narez. And that's because I believe certain things happened behind the scenes. Certain men were offered a fight. I don't think they took the fight, and that's how he ended up with the fight. That's where I'm coming with this. You see? Because, look, Goodman he's undefeated. You got a big storyline right there. And then MJ. Now, what plays a factor here, a key factor in it all, is that Luis Narez won a title eliminator. You see, he won a title eliminator, and he's coming off some, so his name was in the hat. I would like to know the men that couldn't accept the fight or denied the fight for whatever reason, said they just wasn't going to be ready in the deadline of May. Because it doesn't mean that MJ's scared of him. It just means he wasn't going to be ready. That's all that means. I wonder if they ever offered the fight to Casamara or if he was an option. At what point did they go MJ, Luis Narez? I would like to be a fly on the wall in the room with Naoya Inoue's promotional company when they were thinking out the opponent for this fight. I just wanted to see where their mind was. Now, then I found out about the entire storyline, and then it clicked. It all came together, right? Luis Narez got kicked out of Japan. This is a hit. This is a straight Japanese signed contract hit because of all that thing that went on with Luis Narez and the Japanese decorated champion. That's their hero. That was their hero, their idol in Japan. And you gonna come test positive on PE, say it was on some tainted meat like Canelo did in Mexico, which aren't these dudes multi-million-dollar athletes? What are you doing eating bodega meat? Don't you get your meat sent? Like the top meat? Don't you guys got like chefs and nutritionists and people that prepare your food? But yet, you're eating the meat that they're eating in the lowest part of Mexico that was tainted. That's what you're saying. I guess so. I guess so, right? Right? So, and then on top of it, he comes in 5 pounds overweight. Now, let's just back things up for 1 second. I just want to back things up for 1 second. I might be moving a little too fast. It's important to know the type of PE that he got caught for in this situation. Now, I'm going to present it to you, and You have at it. You tell me what you think. The specific type of banned substance that Luis Narez got banned for and got popped for, right? It deteriorated fat growth and increased muscle growth. So it would allow your body to burn fat at a much higher rate and turn it into muscle. You see? In their next fight, he came in 5 pounds overweight, meaning that if he didn't have that stuff no more, he couldn't burn the fat. He couldn't drop the weight and turn it into muscle. He no longer could make that weight. And so much, in fact, that's how heavy he came into it. You see? But where does this all come from? Where does this all stem from? Let's think about this. Here's a fighter, Luis Narez, right? Luis Pantera Narez, right? That doesn't want to shy away from the occasion. He wants to fight, but he knows he can no longer make this weight. He even pushed himself to put a substance in his body because of the fact that he wanted to give the world the big fights. And this was his opportunity, and his body was just outgrowing the division. Look how much pressure some of these athletes are on. Could you honestly sit there at home and say, I would have passed on the opportunity because you couldn't make 3 or 4 more pounds? The money, everything, the moment of fighting, Japanese fighter, and the shot at a world title. Because of the fact that that point in your career, your body said, we can no longer make this weight. A lot of fighters experience this moment. How far are you willing to go? Now they just call him a cheater. But you have no idea what Luis Narez was going through in that moment. In desperation. He would have took anything if you would have told him he can cut and make the weight and make the fight. Because he felt, I can beat this guy. And it wasn't the performance enhancement drug that beat him on that night, as you can see. He tested positive, they ran it back. He knocked him out in the second round. The fact that he knocked him out in the second round and embarrassed him so much, the Japan people are very prideful people. They took that very disrespectful. A lot of feelings were hurt. Had the Japanese committee just let a week pass and really thought it through and not acting on like anger and aggression, then they would have, I don't think they would have banned him because it wasn't that serious to get banned. But it was to the man he did it to. That was their champion, their hero. He was, you know what I mean? Had it been any other Japanese fighter, he comes in 5 pounds, they don't ban him for life. Hell no. Hell no, they don't ban him. What's up? We got a donation. And what's up? Listen, I think I fixed it. I took away the noise suppression. I'm hoping you hear this. Let me know if you hear this. Do you hear the bell sound? Yes or no? Because I'm banging it, and then I go back on my video, and y'all ain't hearing it. I'm like, no. Yo, is it popping, the bell sound? I just gotta know if you can hear that. Damn, you guys just typing. Let me catch up to some of y'all because I want to answer some of y'all questions. So let me get over here. Yeah, so yeah, you could say a lot about fighters, right? And some fighters will take a PE or steroid to cheat. Yeah, they will. Okay, and I'm not saying that fighters have not done that, right? And I'm not saying what Luis Narez did was right. I'm just saying that I could imagine his situation and where he was at in that moment in his career. He comes back, shoots it back, and says, look, I won't take the PE, but I can't really make the weight. I can't make it, but I'll show up. He showed up and knocked him out. Without the PE, he did better, but he was just trying to tell him, bro, I pushed myself to the limit to get my name next to this man, to share the ring with him. I didn't mean to disrespect you guys. And you guys took the shit talking and blended it in with the performance and everything else that was going around. You got to understand, Japan, that he was trying to sell a fight. So shit talking aside, y'all should have been able to see through that. You can't hold everybody to your standards, Japan. Unfortunately, you're dealing with people that are deal with other customs around the world. Where the police might fight at, the crowds are always rowdy and this, that, and the third, and they didn't take that as a disrespect. I understand when in Rome, do as the Romans, you gotta show them respect. But it's not like he was like, fuck you to the whole island of Japan. The man missed weight. 5 pounds. I get it. 5 pounds. Lifetime ban? I don't think that merits that. Okay. Because I'm being honest and I'm not being biased. You know, I'm not just going to take the Japanese people's side because I like the dude. I like the dude, but I'm going to speak my mind. I don't think Luis Narez deserved that. But I believe he deserved a type of ban. Shit, a year for every pound, 5 years. And I think that's harsh. Okay? But I would have went with that. Now they're showing their hand, the Japanese, in the sport. They're showing that they're willing to bend the rules as long as it favors them. They're willing to lift the ban so that their fighter can beat that man in their home country on their world stage. What a quinky-dink. You won't lift it for him to fight another Mexico fighter in Japan on an undercard. Let's say your Japanese fighter was fighting and he wanted to fight on the undercard another Mexican fighter. He couldn't do it. Not even another Japanese fighter. He couldn't do it. He's banned. But you're going to lift it. This is a straight hit. They believed more in their guy, the Japanese super. And why shouldn't they? They got the most elite fighter of our time right now on their side. The Japanese got him. Okay? They got his brother. They got Takanomi. They got a bunch of Japanese fighters that are champions right now that are standing behind the Japanese superstar. That's the Japanese team. Bunch of killers standing behind them. You seen that knockout of the year that dude did to Maloney? That's who's standing behind the Japanese superstar and much more. But we also got a team too. Team USA. And we got Terrence Crawford standing in the front of that. And behind Terrence Crawford, sliding right behind them, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, we got them all. Don't mess around. Arrow sliding right at the side, American fighter. And you got to count all the Puerto Rican fighters that are coming in through the back door right now. So America's got a great team too. Mexico's got a great team with Canelo Alvarez leading the way, you know? And, you know, this is very exciting. You know, Luis Narez is defending the Mexicans right now, and they're going up against Japan for those belts. Luis Narez pulls the biggest upset in boxing. He brings all 4 of those belts to Mexico and is revered as a king. Stamps his ticket into the Hall of Fame with one fight. You can't ask for nothing more. This is a lottery fight right here. This is the fight you dream about your entire life as a boxer laying in bed. This is the type of shit right here. This moment right here. And you know, for all the shit talking and all the criticism that Luis Narez is getting for the way he fights, I get it. Everybody's saying it. Man, he can't go in there hooking like that against the Jap. And I don't believe he will. I know that type of fighter that's in him at some point in the fight will show up. That he's not going to be able to help it. You're not going to be able to suppress that many years of fighting that way in one training camp. It would take you years to adapt a new fighting style and for you to convince your mind not to do everything you once did. You have to understand that his movements in the ring he's not thinking. He's just acting and responding. It's so fluent to him that that is his fighting style. And if you get hit hard, he's going to divert back to the old fighter. That's what's going to happen. So rather than change him, try to implement things that can work in his favor. Tighten up on the defense, when to grab the Japanese superstar. Don't let him fire off on you on the inside. He's not the type of fighter that will shy away from fighting in the inside. Luis Nares is not going to want to take those punches in the inside on this guy, because just like Tapales did, Marlon Tapales is a tough guy. And when a tough guy knows he can take a shot, he's going to show at one point in the fight to the other guy, or try to show, you're not hurting me. The problem is the Japanese guy, he has enough power to hurt you and surprise you. You don't want to find out how hard his punches are too late, where then now you're in trouble. And he's reading this, the Japanese superstar. You could put on a good poker face like Marlon Tapales did, right? But it's just a matter of time. And if he did, in fact, hit you with shots and you got a good poker face, let's just remember, you're still in trouble. He's going to come and check the temperature in a second. If you don't respond or move, he's going to come check the temperature. Yeah. And like a lot of fighters that the Japanese superstar fought against, like Paul Butler, at some point in the fight, in the ring, Paul Butler was looking for somewhere to hide in the ring. It's just there's no place to hide. But he kept running. He wanted a break. He needed some time just to process these punches and to think just a little bit at times. When Paul Butler, every time in the closing of the rounds, and he would get up and he would go out, he would have a moment where that he would say, okay, let's get it together. And right away, the Japanese superstar reminded him, no, this is the entire fight. I hit this hard. The entire fight, I am this fast. The entire fight, I have this kind of pressure on you. You see? And, one of my questions for a long time was that, okay, granted, the Japanese superstar looks great going forward. And when he can push the fighter backwards, there's going to come a day someone's going to be able to stand in front of him, okay, and slug it out with him. And then as I'm looking through his highlight, I'm quickly reminded, wait a minute, that day's already come. Donaire stood right in front of him for 12 rounds. He didn't take too many steps back, and he fought a younger version of the Japanese superstar, and he slugged it out with him. Okay, didn't pay off too good for Donaire. I don't think Donaire won a lot of those rounds in that fight, including the round that he fractured his orbital bone. But you cannot give that to the Japanese superstar even by points, because the cut alone is going to win him the round. And it was deemed by a punch. So that round will, in fact, go to Donaire. He wasn't going to outscore him on that. He would have had to put Donaire down in order to take that away from him. So, yeah, in fact, yeah. I always said that Donaire didn't win that round because technically he really didn't look like he outpointed him in the round. But I keep forgetting, I guess, that you have to give him points for that cut. And if you're giving him points for the cut, it's going to over-succeed any, visible punches the Japanese superstar hit him. Yeah, you hit him with some shots, but there's no blood on Donaire. You didn't cut him. So he's going to get that round. Yeah, come to think about it, yes, he would. He would get that round. So, Luis Nares has this big of an opportunity in front of him. He could be standing next to Canelo Alvarez with 4 belts real fast. He can wake up in May the next day with like 4 belts and your life completely changing. I believe if he was victorious, that right away Bob Arum and Top Rank are gonna rematch, and it's probably gonna be one of the things in the contract. They're gonna probably put it in, because Bob Arum understands that shit happens in boxing. He's been around fighters for a long time, and he's seen the best of the best get knocked out one time. So he understands that shit happens, So time will tell. Time will tell with this fight. There's a kid fighting from my hometown, Jamie Ortiz, and the fight was announced to fight Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. I went on and made a quick video. My boy told me May 14th. Then I come and I look, it says May 12th. I'm like, what the hell, man, right? So I'm like, all right, okay. But we know it's in May. I believe it's May 12th now, right? Because I saw it, right? I was like, shit. So maybe my man was talking fast, right? But Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko will be going out to Australia to fight George Kamboza for one of the vacant belts that Devin Haney vacated. Now, this is very interesting because those two men are kind of similar, but in my opinion, I believe that Lomachenko is just a step ahead of him and better in every category, my man. That's my opinion. I don't know if you agree with me. If you agree with me, type round 1 for me. But I think Lomachenko is faster than him on the jab. I think Lomachenko's footwork is better than George Kamboza's by slightly. Like I said, in everything, George Kamboza is a good fighter. He beat Tio. He shocked the world, okay? You got to give him that. No matter how Tio fought him, that's not his fault. George Kamboza fought the mental fight and his fight that night. He won, right? Lomachenko lost the fight to Devin Haney, but the way that Devin Haney wiped down George Kamboza and the way that Lomachenko fared against Devin Haney, I just think that Lomachenko is a more superior fighter. I believe he always was. There wasn't a moment ever in their two career that I think that George Kamboza passed Lomachenko. I don't ever think there was a moment for that. And that moment has not come. But this is a good opportunity. It also gives George Kamboza an opportunity to get back in the championship category, to get one of the belts. It also gets Lomachenko in Top Rank, another fighter with another belt, which later will, bring a big fight. Shakur Stevenson, from what I'm being told, he's been fighting Navarrete. Now I'm starting to question that too. Is Navarrete on the same card and Steven, and they're fighting someone else? Or are they actually fighting each other, right? Things I should have asked why I had him on the phone, right? Because I'm talking to a guy I know associated with Top Rank. So, and the conversation went fast because he was in a meeting, so forth, right? So, and I promised that I want to get you guys more on the Japanese superstar. And, I'm going to try to make some moves here. And I really, really, really want to bring you guys stuff that no one else has ever brought. So I'm really working on this shit, okay? Jamie Ortiz is coming into this fight with Teofimo Lopez. And they're having a send-off for him in Worcester, Massachusetts. If you're around in the area on Thursday on the Girls and Boys Club at 12 in the afternoon, they're going to start to kick off a send-off for him before he heads out to Las Vegas on the final preparations for his training camp and so forth and so forth. And he's getting a big opportunity against Teofimo Lopez. Now, in many different ways, I went back, I looked up Teo, and I looked up Jamie, right? And I gotta admit, Teofimo Lopez's boxing record surprised me a little. It really did. I might have known this, but until he has a fight schedule that I really go back and look up their records and stuff, I looked up Teofimo Lopez's boxing record, right? So Teofimo Lopez is coming into this fight against Jamie Ortiz, right? And he's coming into the fight 19, 1, and 13, right? He has a 68% knockout ratio. He's 26 years old, still remarkably young. He feels like he's been in the game for a while, right? Right? And that's what I'm going to talk about that. He's 5'8", right? He has a 68% arm reach. Now, in Teofimo Lopez's boxing career, he has 19 fights. 19 fights? He came up neck to neck with Devin Haney. Devin Haney has 31 fights. Tank Davis has 30. You see what I'm saying? These guys were the four horsemen. Where is Teofimo's activity? I know he fought one time within like 10 months. He fought 3 times in like 10 months. Okay, kudos for you. That's still 1 year. That's still just 1 calendar year, right? Interesting enough, Teofimo Lopez has had 6 scheduled 12-round fights. 6 of his fights were scheduled for 12 rounds. And out of the 6 fights that he had scheduled for 12 rounds, he went 12 rounds in 4 of them. So 12-round experience, Teo has in spurts. Meaning, when he fought Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, won those belts, he had a 12-round fight. He lost to George Kamboza. That was a 12-round fight, right? Okay. After that, 10-round fight. After that, 10-round fight. You see? Now, his opponent, right, Jamie Ortiz, he's coming into the fight 17-1-8. 17-1-8. He's only had 3 fights scheduled for 12 rounds. That's it. No, I believe Jamie Ortiz has only been scheduled for 1 12-round fight. Hold on. Let me check this out. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second here. I just need to verify on one thing here. Are you serious right now? All right. I believe Jamie Ortiz has only had one. I think I'm right. That's what's messing me up right here because I just wanted to see it. He has had one scheduled 12-round fight. I thought it was 3, and I was about to mess up, and I said to myself, "No, wait a minute. He only had 1, so he only has one 12-round fight, and then his next fights after that was a 10-round fight." Now, interesting enough, it seems like Teofimo Lopez has fought some of the bigger names. He has been under the bright lights and bigger situation. Jamie Ortiz has been under a couple bright lights himself, where he fought that fight against Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, which me including and a lot of people felt like he won that fight. But nevertheless, they have an opponent in common. Teofimo Lopez fought Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, and Jamie fought Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. I believe this is a big moment for Jamie in his career. This will really test him to see if how he fares and how he performs. You know, whether he wins or lose, either way, his stock can go up. It really depends on how he looks against a champion like such as Teofimo Lopez. Let's keep it in mind that Teofimo Lopez is a two-time division world champion, and he unified all three belts at 135. Okay, so Tio has been battle tested. He hits very hard. I believe that this is Jamie Ortiz's biggest challenge, and then this Thursday, I'm looking forward to meeting him once again and talking with him. I'm gonna see if I can give you guys an interview. More or less, I'm gonna bring you guys one. But this is big. This is big in many ways. He can bring back the championship belt, the WBO title, to the city of Massachusetts, Worcester, in fact, and it would be something really special to watch. So I'm curious how Jamie's gonna fare. I always said that I felt that this would be a big challenge for Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez has had this like stigma of rising on the occasion, and his dancing partner can really bring the best out of him. I believe that Jamie Ortiz is more than capable and ready to meet the challenge, and I think he's going to shock the world. I can't wait to see that fight. I'm going to be covering that fight, and I will have more for you on that fight. But as of right now, let me check in on some of these messages. What's up, guys? All right, my man. What up? Real deal. What's up? Magnificent Control. What's up? Can't say his name. Song. What's up? NG. I'm gonna get my screen and turn it this way and get that little design thing. But last time I tried to do that shit, it all got messed up and I didn't see no messages. I'm still working here. What's up, people? Talk to me. Naris is a cheater. Well, cheating is cheating, Holmes. And I'm not gonna sit here and back cheating up. He's a fucking cheater, bro. If you couldn't make the fight and you had to cheat to make the fight, unfortunately, you're gonna have to make a decisions. Was he gonna have to really stick to a diet and really do it the right way? He could have went into that fight, that first fight, a little depleted, forced to make the weight, miss it a couple pounds, and win the fight. But now, when you miss weight, what happens is you give up the opportunity to win the belt. Luis Narez didn't want to give up the opportunity to win the belt. This was his moment. This is what he built for. If he was going to take the drugs, well, then damn it, he wanted a shot at the belt. The next time, he was the only one in the fight that couldn't win a belt, coming in 5 pounds over. So, and even though he knocked the guy out, Luis Narez didn't walk away that night as a champion. So there's a price to his madness, and he suffered the price. I think he paid for it. How heartbreaking is it to know that you actually won the fight, but you don't leave a champion? That's no punishment. We're just gonna bypass that. Your opportunity's gone, and you're revered and looked at and shunned as a cheater, because you better believe Japan ain't got your back. They putting it out there. No, he got caught on the PEs. As a matter of fact, we're going to suspend them for life. They're going to make you look worse. It's even going to be harder for you to find work. And what do you do for your job? Box. Opponents are going to be like, nah, you a cheater, bro. You just got caught. Yo, he had to build himself back up off the ground from that. But he didn't pay no price. He's just a fucking cheater to you. Sometimes we push these athletes to do things, and like I said, I'm not gonna back his cheating. He had a choice. He knew what he was doing. He picked it, and he got caught. And now he has to suffer the backlash. This is what comes with you taking chances and you get caught. See? Sometimes they say in life, were you sorry or were you sorry you got caught? See? Talk to me, people. Talk to me. Thank you. Yes, it's not Rowley and Garcia's not officially sketched in stone. Okay. Now, there are several things that take place in boxing, verbal agreements, handshakes, and some of these things can, depending on who's talking to you, like, if Al Heyman gave me a handshake and we said, fight on such and such and such, we're just not in the office, we'll have our lawyers talk tomorrow. But if he shook my hand, I believe Al Heyman's a man of his word. I can pretty much say that the fight is good. We just got to get through the paperwork. Okay. The problem with dealing with the PBC and Golden Boy promotion, that there's a lot of history there. And Oscar De La Hoya, if you ask me, he's still butthurt from losing to Floyd Mayweather. So whenever he can get something over on Floyd, he always kind of want to stick it to him. You got to remember that in their fight, he ran Floyd Mayweather through the ringer, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was the A side. He got the most money, 70-30% split. Oscar picked everything. Remember that. He picked the ring, the gloves, the venue, everything. Everything. Mayweather picked nothing, absolutely nothing. He'd take way less money, everything. But he understood the opportunity. And that right there was worth more money than anything. That's when Floyd Mayweather's career went. If you ask me, he understood the opportunity. You see, it wasn't about money. That's legacy right there. Luis Narez right now understands the opportunity. Yes, he has a dark cloud above him. And in this sport, there's a lot of people that got, as a matter of fact, I don't have to dog another boxer just to get my point. You guys know, okay, that in this sport, shit happens, but I also believe that everybody deserves a second chance. I know I would like a second chances on certain things in my life. I don't know about you, but are you perfect? And if you're perfect and you've never wanted a second chance in anything in life, well, then you have the right to call Luis Narez a cheater and not give him a second chance. But unless you're that person, I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. And I believe that Luis Narez right now is on probation in Japan. You should watch how he talks, acts, because if he's cool about it, whether he loses or not, he can make a lot of money out there. Those people will open the door again, and they can, depending how you do. So I'm not sure if that bridge is completely burnt forever for that man, or how hard does Japan hold a grudge over 5 pounds and testing positive on a PE. I get it. I know how that sounds. But yeah, absolutely. What up, Dan? Danny, what up? I believe that's a Japanese curse word. Yo, what's up, guys? Round one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Look, I know in boxing that some of these opportunities and some of these fighters are really pushing their bodies to the limit to give us these kind of fights. But not only just to give the fan, because most importantly, the opportunity is given to them and their families. You have to remember that when your father, husband, brother, loved one is fighting, he's representing your family. And the things that that man or woman can do inside that ring can bring you and your family along. It's about respect. It's about legacy. And to be revered as, your dad being that dude. So winning these belts can do a lot for you. And there are a lot of things on the line. So the pressure of wanting to maintain, sustain, can lead fighters to do things maybe they shouldn't do. But I'm not sugarcoating it, and I'm not backing it up. That's when a fighter needs to make a decision whether they need to move up and stop playing the cheat game to justify what you want to do. You should acknowledge where you are in your career and give yourself the best opportunity on winning on a fair playing ground. But unfortunately, I don't believe that all boxers think the same. And when another athlete takes a PE, you can go in that ring and get seriously hurt. There's a PE for almost everything if you didn't know this. It's not like one PE just does one thing. No. There's a PE to cut weight. There's a PE to build weight. There's a PE for eye-to-eye coordination. There's a PE, there's a PE for everything, bro. You might not have been as nice hitting the target. You take this PE, bro, you're 99% of the time you're going to hit the dude. Whap, whap. It looks like he slows down. And you're just like, whap, whap, whap. You can kill a man like that. He's taking all these punches he shouldn't have been taking. There's no way you should have been hitting him that amount of time. You can kill him. He would have. You're not that good. But you take a PE that, there's a PE for a lot of shit. So I do not believe and I will not support a man's desperate plea because he wanted to fight. You could have killed that man, bro. You could, you're thinking just about yourself and your career. You know what? Luis Narez then cheated. But he wants a second chance. And he wants, to fight at a weight where that he doesn't have to take this stuff. He's more comfortable here. And in a minute or a moment of desperation, he did it. He cheated. He knew he couldn't make the weight. It goes to show in the second fight how much more overweight he was. That goes to show he couldn't make the weight without that drug. There's the proof right there. So and that's why he did it. It wasn't because he was slow. It wasn't because he didn't have no power. It wasn't because he wasn't hitting the target. Because without the drug, he knocked him out in the second round. So it wasn't a drug he was taking to increase his skill. He's not doubting his skill. He just couldn't make the weight. You have at it. You decide what you feel on that. I give you the facts. I tell you what I think. Why I feel. Because, if you just follow what happened, it kind of like lays out for you. Just pay attention to it. 5 pounds overweight? This nigga couldn't make the weight. What was the PE he took? A fat burner. Bing, 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 bing. But I'm not, it is, he cheated, bro. He's a fucking cheater. He did it, for whatever reason. Just have at it. But I believe in the testing here. Naoya Inoue, he will be tested. Japan runs their own sanctioning things over there. When you're fighting over there, you have to submit to their rules, okay? And I believe in many ways, once the Japanese superstar, if he is successful against Luis Narez in this fight right here, he goes down as one of the fighters that successfully defended all 4 belts. That is a very unique room. It's one thing to obtain them. You can get all 4 belts, but it's another room to defend them. There have been many men and women that have obtained all 4 belts, but never got to defend them. So it's just like you winning a belt and you lose in your very next title defense. What solidifies you as a champion amongst champions is that you defended the belt. It's one thing to capture it, but you got to solidify you as a champion, and that's amongst us, among champions. We know that. It might not be solidified in a rule book, But a month's champion, you're not really a champion until you defend your belt. It goes for getting all 4 belts. Yeah, getting all 4 belts is not easy. So you getting them by itself, big award, big achievement. Hats off to you, right? Defending them now, you're in a different atmosphere. You're in a different room, and it's a small room. There's not a lot of people in that room. Okay? Out of the 9 men that did it, half of them didn't defend. Almost more than half didn't defend. So you're in a room, a real small room, to begin with. Then on top of that, you're even in a smaller room. He has the ability to walk out of that room and just walk into the next room where only him and Terrence Crawford sit to this day. Him and Terrence Crawford are in that room having a conversation. Guess what? Why? Because they're the only 2 men in the planet that's ever achieved all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. Right? And interesting enough, both men are fighting in the exact same era. What's that tell you? That boxing is changing. Boxing is evolving. And boxing is starting to work, and the sanctioning bodies are starting to work with each other because they're seeing that it is more profitable to have them fighting in their titles amongst the champions. Rather than every sanctioning body, like back in the day, WBA, bro, they didn't want their belt next to nobody. Seeing that they were the originators, I would understand. In history, if you do not know this, in history, there has been moments in time where champions were stripped of their titles, such as the WBC and the WBA, right? Because they fought for the WBO when the WBO was not recognized as a world championship back then. They took it as a smack to the face. Don't put my belt in the ring with that belt side by side, because you're bringing down the WBA. You're bringing down the WBC when you put it next to any belt. Bro, you cannot allow that to happen. Why? Because and then the European champion is going to come out and say, I'm a real world champion. Because the WBA champion got the North Pacific European Championship belt right next to your belt. And if he has the North one, well, I got the West, the South one. Then that makes me a champ. You see where this goes? You must keep your belt prestigious. You can't have that belt just in any champion, Russian championship. Get the fuck out. No, you can't go beat up the Russian champion and put it next to the WBC. They ain't not going to allow that. You see, you got to earn your right as a major sanctioning body. One of the youngest sanctioning bodies now that is starting to come around is the IBO. And the IBO is making headways, right? We've seen some pretty strong IBO champions. And mind you, what makes these belts prestigious in the first place are the men and women that held them. Without these champions, these belts ain't shit. If Muhammad Ali never held the WBA or the WBC and Floyd never held the WBC, that belt wouldn't be shit. It's the men and women, the great champions, that says the IBO champion, no one can beat the IBO champion. That's what that's saying. No one can beat the WBA champion. You think you could beat the WBA champion? Well, bring the IBF champion and let's see. You see? That's what that means. That your belt got the best champion. And when men and women, like fighters like Larry Holm, when he won the WBO, and for as long as he held it, the Klitschko brothers, fighters like that, started making, okay, when Oscar De La Hoya got the WBO, and Oscar De La Hoya did that for the WBO. Oscar De La Hoya and Bernal Harpington are the ones that solidified the WBO's entrance as one of the four major sanctioning bodies on that night. Yes, because Oscar De La Hoya was revered as Mexico's biggest star. He had a gold medal. He was a multiple division world champion. He was the real deal. He was already solidified at this point in his career. In order to sell the fight with Bernal Hopkins, that already had all three belts, he beat Felix Trinidad in that tournament in Madison Square Garden to get all three belts. In order for Oscar De La Hoya to be a player, he needed something. And he linked on the WBO. By Oscar De La Hoya getting the WBO and the WBO finally poking out their chest and saying, no, we want our slice of the pie now. We want to be acknowledged because those are your three belts here that night, but this is our belt. And we're part of this. We're tired of being kicked around, and you guys are saying every time our belt's in the ring, that's not a real world title. Because it wasn't. It wasn't. You know, this shit is like the mob, baby. You got to get, you got to put in your work to get in. You just can't make no rinky-dink belt and people are going to accept it. Right? On that night, WBO solidified itself as a real world title. The men and women that are coming up holding this belt right here, many fighters like I mentioned, Stephen Kubo Fulton, IBO champion. Vladimir Klitschko had the belt. There's been a lot of them, a lot of guys. Anthony Joshua had the IBO. And the list goes on and on and on about men that are starting to make this belt right here recognized. It's not revered or recognized yet. It's a secondary championship belt. Kind of like an interim belt, but an interim world title is a little stronger than that. It is. If you have like an interim IBF, as long as it says IBF, it's, because this is not even official yet. IBF interim, that's, it's top dog shit right there. You should be on your way to fighting for the real belt at that point. So, yeah, any interim belt by the major sanctioning bodies is stronger than an IBO. Yes, it is. But the IBO will be making its way. And I believe will become a time where there'll be 5 belts in the sport of boxing. Even more exciting. More money, more money, more money. Let's check out some of these messages. What you guys got to say about this? Listen, they're unleashing the monster on that ass. They want recognition. They feel like they were disrespected by Luis Narez, and I don't really think that they're thinking the situation through. I don't also think that they're listening or have the time to hear Luis Narez's explanation because I don't think they want to really hear him. But, when I sit down through an unbiased set of lens and I sit back and I can say, well, I could see where he was. This is an opportunity for the title, and I ran it all down. And I broke the whole scenario down for you. And I really believe that, we all deserve second chances. I don't think this is the type of second chance Luis Narez had in mind. Yeah, we're going to give you a second chance. Right this way. They got a killer, an assassin right behind the door. Oh, yeah. No. It's right over here. This is one of those situations where you go into it knowing it's a trap. You know what I mean? You know it's a trap, right? But you still going in the room. And like your partner's like, hold up. It's a trap. I know it's a trap. I'm going in. Yo, it's one of those situations. So Luis Narez knows what's at stake. He knows that the hit's been sent out for him, and he knows who they're sending out to carry it. It's Naoya Inoue. And he's sending out to get the respect back for Japan, for their championship, and for them as competing as a fighting country, Japan. Okay, remember, if the Japanese superstar is successful, the belts stay in Japan. Okay, They don't go to Mexico, right? So, that's, we're always competing. We're always competing here. And when we're thinking about some of the biggest fights that we have coming around right now and some of the fights that were all signed, okay? Ryan Garcia against Rolly is a good fight. Is a good fight in many ways. I believe when the matchmakers, if they put that fight together, that's a good fight, and because I believe that they're both on similar levels. No, they do not fight the same. No, they do not look the same. But I believe that they're on the same level, if you understand what that means. Okay? I believe they're on the same level. Okay? Now, I don't think he was ready to fight Devin Haney. And all that talk about him sending over a contract to Devin Haney and trying to get it, I'm not going to say shame on Devin Haney for trying to get that fight, because this boy's been talking shit about you for a long time. But that would have been an easy night at the office, if you ask me, for Devin Haney. And sometimes you need fights like that, to break it down. He's been on a streak, But I believe Ryan Garcia and Rolly, it's a much more competitive fight. Now, this is an interesting situation because if you do not know the backstory, which I believe we're all familiar with the backstory, but here's something you may or may not know. Okay. We know that Rolly had a controversial fight with the old man, and the old man, they stopped the fight. Many of us felt if the referee, Tony Winks, would have let it go, that the old man would have pulled off the victory. Okay. Being that Rolly felt some kind of way with the whole fight thing, Rolly himself goes and says, I ain't going to fight anyone else, right, until I fight him. But when they scheduled the fight, Rolly pulled out. Now, under the conditions that he pulled out, right, they're saying, okay, the old man's ready. So, okay, to please him, we're going to give him an interim fight to wait for that he can fight you. So, in technical standpoint, Rolly's WBA title is kind of on suspension. Meaning he doesn't have full control or deem who he fights. It's on suspension for only one name, which means legally he cannot put that belt on the line to fight Ryan Garcia. He can't put the belt on the line because you're not supposed to be fighting nobody else but the old dude. There's a rule where he's got a flag on the belt. It's kind of not like the belt's not his. Because when they do that, what they're kind of saying is you were this close from being stripped. Meaning if you fart the wrong way, they're taking that belt away from you. You got to do exactly what they tell you to do. By fighting Ryan Garcia is the same thing that Jamel Charlo did with Saul Canelo Alvarez. Then they stripped him of the belt and gave it to Tim Tszyu. They told Jamel Charlo, okay, you broke your hand. We're going to postpone the fight with Tim Tszyu. But your next fight better be against Tim Tszyu. You know what he did? He went and fought Saul Canelo Alvarez. What do you think they did? They stripped him. After the fight, he was like, oh, they stripped me. I didn't know they would. He tried to play it off like, man, he knew what he was doing the whole time. So, look, I've seen a lot of things in boxing, fight fans. I've seen a lot of bullshit. People get step-aside money. And even if the old man took step-aside money, they still don't have the legal right to put that belt up. Even if the old man took a step aside money, technically, the rules state they can't put that belt up. They can't put that belt up to no one. Only the old man's name. Because that's where the controversy. He's the fighter that it was against. So that fighter's not bypassed. Bro, if you put the fight up against Ryan Garcia and you put the belt up, that's not honoring what the fucking violation was for. The violation was because you couldn't make the fight against the old dude, Ismail, right? You got to fight him. The name can't change. You can't say Ryan Garcia and the belt's on the line. I'm just letting y'all know. You can't do that. No, you can't. Why you think these rules are put in place? Why you think that they put the suspension or hold on the belt? What good is it to put a hold on the belt when you can turn around and fight somebody else and then that same belt that they put a hold on is on the line? You can't do that. So that Ryan Garcia belt against Rolly, I don't know how they going to do it, but it's not supposed to be for a belt. I'm just going, because what if Ryan wins? Then the old man got to fight Ryan for the belt? That's not who he had a controversial loss against. That's not who he wants to put his hands on. He don't got no beef with at the time with Ryan. His beef is with Rolly. Nigga, I was going to bust your ass into this referee done came in and saved you. I want to prove to you, Rolly, I can beat you. Rolly wasn't the one that I had against the rope and boom, 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 and I dropped him, and then, I was weathering the storm. That night didn't happen against Ryan Garcia. He wants Rolly. That's why he has to fight Rolly. That's why when they're saying that this Ryan Garcia fight, is it or not sketched in stone, I need to remind you that we're dealing with a lot of outside entities, in fact, that do not coincide. Oscar De La Hoya hates fucking Floyd. He hates that dude, right? But he loves money. Because no matter how he was mad at Floyd, money's green. And that's no color. So putting the fights together would make sense. But Floyd Oscar always on some fuck shit, bro. You know how he coming, right? And he's kind of losing control of the kid, Ryan. More and more you're seeing him on social media with Floyd than I do see with his promotional company. He's always fighting with Bernal Hopkins. He don't seem like he respects anybody anymore. He's on social media, on YouTube, pushing Bill Haney on some bullshit push, too, that you invited him to a bathroom. And then while you're walking to the bathroom with the man, you're going to push him? If we was in the joint, I'd call that a PC move. Protective custody move. You did it in front of the guard. You threw a punch at me in front of the guard. You didn't wait until we got into the room. Away from the cameras. You didn't follow me to the mop room. You threw a punch in front of the guard. Bro, you don't want none. That's a stunt. If I had a problem with you, there would be no way that even the cameras would have heard me tell him, let's go to the bathroom. None of them cameras. Bro, I would have hugged Bill Haney with a smile on my face, pulled him in close, act like everybody out of my man, Bill Haney. Yo, let's go to the fucking bathroom. I'll smash you. Yo, my man, listen, I'll be right over there. Yeah, come through. And I'm right to the bathroom. He don't got to pull a stunt. No words. Just follow me. That's how you do it. That as a man, you don't got to cause a scene when you want to do things. So that's when I feel like when you see a person causing a scene or out talking somebody or yelling or, they don't really want it. They don't really want it. They're the type of dude that's like, oh, hold me back, I got you. And then when the dude's like, listen, son, I got you, bro. Yo, keep your hand on me. Yo, bro. You know what I mean? You've seen them before, right? Because if you're going to get shit done, there's no need. Yo, meet me right over there. Just you by yourself. Let me come talk to you over here. We're going to go 5 strong to the mustache. Right in this corner, right over here. As soon as we done, either you want to give me a handshake, I'll take you out to dinner. Are you done? Am I done? You finished? All right? You good? Okay, let's go. Handle your business. You know what I mean? But, I've seen a lot of things in boxing, and I've seen the way men in this profession should be carrying themselves at a higher standard. Bernal Harpington is a warrior. He is a veteran. He's been in many situations where he's been on promoting his fight, shit talking with other fighters. He has also been a man that has been incarcerated. He knows the ropes, and what I'm saying is he knows better than what he's doing. You know, I just feel that sometimes you lose yourself in this sport, and there's other factors, but I don't have no proof of the other factors, so I'm not just gonna come out and say cocaine is a hell of a drug because I have no proof of that. I know him and Oscar's been accused of it, but am I in the room? No. Have I ever seen him do it? No. So who the fuck am I to say some shit like that? But he sure is striking me like a person that's saying some shit that I'll be like, are you serious? But now, Harpington, you yourself would check somebody for doing that same shit to you, but you're doing it now? That's what I mean sometimes, So, but anyway, listen. What's up? Ryan's forgot Tank too soon. Garcia wasn't ready. That's what I'm talking about. Look, it's not even about Garcia being ready because at this point in his career, he has no one to blame but himself. You see, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, they all came up during the same time. Teofimo Lopez, they were all revered as the Four Horsemen. Some of these fighters have much more fighters in between than these guys. You can say what you want about Devin Haney and Tank Davis. You could judge their quality opponents. You could judge what they did. But the one thing you can't take away from them, that they've been active a lot. And they have been fighting the same amount of time that Devin Haney's been coming up in the pro. Teofimo Lopez is the same amount. Ryan Garcia has the same amount. But if you look at their boxing records, it's like off by a lot. It's not like off by 3 or 4 fights where it's close. No, a lot. A lot. In fact, just to prove my point, which I already know Devin Haney got 31 fights. I'm pretty sure of it, but I just want to co-sign it, right? Because I know that's what he has. And if that's just true, I mean, that's outrageous. That's 15 fights more, bro. That's crazy. And he was side by side with him coming up. That's, I'm not going to be able to find it right now. That's how it is. I usually have paperwork on everything else. But what you looking up for? Ain't that how shit goes? Right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Well, I know it's like 31 fights or some shit like that. It is. I know it is. And and there's a skill gap. There's a skill gap, right? Not only in record, but a skill. You mean to tell me that there's anybody of you out there that believe that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are on the same skill level? Oh, anybody? Hope not. Because the truth is, Devin Haney's leaps and bounds on the skill lap. Now, mind you, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fought 4 times in the amateurs. They're 2-2. They're roughly around the same age. But Devin Haney is a much, much more decorated and completed champion than Ryan Garcia is. And that has only to do in connection with Ryan Garcia. That's his fault. I believe Ryan Garcia is an exceptional talent. I believe he has good speed. He has a great sneaky check hook. It's fast. I don't think he has the best footwork in the world. And his defense and his head game standing straight up like that, I believe that's an issue. That Ryan Garcia shoulder roll, whatever that's called, I'm not going to even disrespect the Philly shoulder roll by saying that that's what he was doing, because that would be disrespecting the Philly shoulder roll, because what he did in that ring that night, that shit was crazy. That was the back roll, where you give your back to your opponent and he beats on your back. I don't know what the hell that was. Okay, so but it's clear he's not on the level as a Devin Haney. He is truly not, and it would be foolish for him to go into the fight with Devin Haney when he wasn't even ready for a fighter like Tank Davis. And if you ask me, Tank Davis allowed that fight to carry on a little bit longer just for the money in the moment. I don't think at any point in the fight Tank Davis ever felt like there was a chance where he might lose the fight. You understand? Tank Davis didn't look worried any time in the fight like he did in Eastside Pitbull's Cruz fight. Tank Davis' expression in the Eastside Pitbull Cruz fight changed. It didn't change to fear. It changed to a little bit of worry. I think when he broke his hand and he knew that that hand was really broken bad, and he hit him with the other one, and he felt a little in that hand, and he was like, fuck, and this guy's still standing in front of him. I saw his face expression change. A little doubt, a little worry started to creep in. Bro, one hand's broken and the other one's, a little doubt would start to creep in on the average fighter. You know what I mean? It wasn't that he was scared of Pitbull Cruz at all. But I believe if his hands didn't break, I don't think he would have been worried at all. I think Tank Davis would have just, pieced him up. But you can see he didn't throw that hand no more in the fight. And it was up to Eastside Pitbull's crew corner to catch that and say, yo, he's fighting you with one hand. And when he started putting on a lot of pressure on Tank Davis, I'm not sure exactly what round it was, but believe me, if you go back and watch and you really pay attention to Tank Davis' expression, Eastside Pitbull Cruz started to get wild in the fight. I remember it. And he started to and Tank Davis was circling out, and he was like, shit. He had that look like, man, this motherfucker's still here. You know what I mean? And that's what I talk about, like that. You can't let, your opponent get settled in and everything. And, that's what I saw in that one. But there was at no point that he looked like that in the Ryan Garcia fight. He had complete control. He knew he was going to knock out Ryan Garcia. So I like this match against Rolly. I really do. Against Ryan, I like that match a lot. I believe that's a 50-50 fight. For both that's a 50-50 fight. Will they be able to pull it off to please the masses? Okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, say they say, fuck it, we can't get past the old man without putting the belt on the line, right? So they look at Rolly and they say, Rolly, you're going to have to run it back with him. Go out, fight the old man, win, and then we got you with Ryan Garcia. Rolly go out there and gets knocked the fuck out. Yo, that old man got enough pop. And as you can see, he dropped Rolly in the fight, and he one punch the brother. Poof. Which is messed up, because no sooner that he knocks the guy out, I get air from the grapevine that in fact that dude is boxing in Connecticut with some of my boys and some of my coaches that I've been connected with, and that was their fighter. I was like, this is fight business, baby. You got to get, you get knocked down, dust yourself back off, get right back up, get back to work, You can't let that shit fucking determine who you are as a fighter, right? Got to get back on a horse. That's all I can say to that. The old man won Ismail, he won fair and square. I believe it was so fair and square, in fact. It was a left hook fair and square. Yo! But they're going to have to work something out with that. In order to get that fight, I'm just giving you guys the logistics in between it and what should go down and take place. They can't fight for that belt, bro. They can't. And then if Navarrete goes up and fights Shakur Stevenson, right? Which this is what I'm being told. Which that fight is going to be on the undercard of the Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko fight and George Kamboza fight. It's going to be the co-main event. Okay? Now, this is a dangerous fight for Shakur Stevenson fighting Navarrete. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, he, well, the first fight was like Navarrete. All right, I'm going to have to go back and watch a couple of Navarrete's fights again, right? Before I give my definite opinion and analysis, because I started thinking about one thing in my head as I was talking about this fight. You see, because the world has already seen with Shakur Stevenson that if you show him that you're not scared, and you hit him with something hard, he's not going to fight you. Shakur Stevenson showed me that night that if everything's going as planned and he's doing whatever he likes in the ring, he'll have a good night. But if you fight him and he feels something, like there was this thing on social media where that Shakur Stevenson's boy went on and said, yo, Shakur, I was trying to tell you that Edwin has some pop, right? And because of the fact that his boy was blatantly honest, Shakur was like, I had to disown one of my mans and shit, right? Which is stupid, right? Because you should be able to take constructive criticism. And all that taking sides and lying for you or backing you up on your performance. Listen, brother, maybe if your friends and family, everybody tell the truth about you, maybe it will alight something underneath your ass to confront yourself. But you rather niggas yes you to death and lie to you. No, Shakur, you're great. No, Shakur, he is more of your friend than any man that told you you look good in that fight. Now, those guys are fucking the faggots right there. The dudes that are saying, nah, you look great. Don't worry about what they saying. Yes, men. Those are not your boys. But your friend that spoke the truth and gave an honest assessment about your performance, Shakur, you disowned him. That might have been your only real friend. But since you don't know how to choose a friend, you don't know how to pick them, just like you didn't know how to pick that opportunity that Devin Haney gave you, everything that this kid seems to be making is just wrong. I think he thinks a little bit too much about himself. I think he's drinking the Shakur Stevenson juice too much. If he really thought that he had a voice in that negotiation against Devin Haney, bro, you're not the A side. You never fought on pay-per-view. You're a regular TV fighter. You have fought for world titles, I get it, but up until that point, you didn't have any belts. Devin Haney had the 4 belts when the offer was made. You see, you didn't deny 1, you denied 2. And then when you say, you know what? I need to be respected. I know my net worth, and I'm worth more money. And if you don't pay me, I don't care about those belts because I don't need those belts. And on your very next fight, you fight for the vacant belt that he vacates for way less more money. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How can you do that but claim to be one of the... Make it make sense, man. Come on, man. You can't do that, man. And walk around and acting like, oh, I'm the... Nah, bro. Nah. So, my thing is this. Whoever Shakur Stevenson fights, whatever he does next, whatever is official, because things have ways of changing in boxing, right? And, one guy was said to fight this guy, then now he's fighting this guy. It happens all the time, okay? So, whoever he fights, best be assured he needs a great performance. And I'm not sure if I'm in agreement with all of you guys, but I believe that Shakur Stevenson owes us a good performance. He at least owes me my money for that last fucking pay per view fight. All right, I want my money back, bro. you know. So, and I just hope that they don't make it a pay per view fight. I believe, but they're going to, because in order to see his fight, you're gonna have to pay to see the Vasil High Tech George Camboza fight, which is gonna be out in Australia, which is probably gonna be around the time frame. Do you guys remember when Devin Haney entered the ring with him? How the time frames were off. So that's where probably gonna be if you're interested in watching that fight. It's gonna be a good fight. I mean, when Vasil High Tech Lomachenko fights anyway, it's gonna be fireworks. I still think that he got it in him coming off of that performance with Devin Haney. So it looks like a great opportunity. So rumors are also being said. I just want to close with this, that the Japanese superstar is being rumored that the Saudis out in the desert are really interested in him. And I mean really interested in the Japanese superstar. Now, I know that the number sounds crazy, and I've heard the number on multiple YouTube channels, but I'm not just going to come out and agree just because the number's stupid, which the number is being said to be reported as 69 million, 70 million, 10 billion yang. Now, whatever that translate into American dollars, that's the total amount. Now, I'm not a banker, and I don't know what the dollar ratio is, okay? But it's a lot of fucking money from what I'm being told, okay? Because by the way I measured it in my head, okay, they gave the Japanese superstar, what was it? It was 10 million yang. They gave him 10 million yang in his last fight with Marlon Tapales. 10 million yang. And translated in English, he got $1.3 million. He got a little under $2 million for the Marlon Tapales fight, the Japanese superstar. And they said that was 10 million yang. They're saying they're offering him 10 billion yang to fight in the desert. You see? So the amount, it went from million to billion. So if 10 million was translated 1.3, I kind of was trying to calculate it. I was like, but then what the fuck is a billion yang? What the fuck is that? If you got 10 million, so 10 million, 10 would be 1 billion, right? And if 10 of those, 10 million adds up to 1.3, so every 10 is a 1 million, right? Or so, in the 3, right? You would have to add that up. So it's a crazy fucking number, bro. That's all I know. It's a crazy number. Yeah, Shakur was meant to fight Jamie Ortiz, but Teofimo Lopez needs an opponent, so they gave him Jamie and made Navarrete move up. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, I think. So, I like that. I can see where the fight makers saw that Jamie Ortiz would be good for Tio and Navarrete would be good for Shakur. I can see where that, they thought that. They're on different fight cards, but they're in the same business. They're in the same building. So although they might send one fight this way, the people behind the scenes all are coinciding, kind of trying to give us the best fighters and the best matchmaking for these kind of fights. That's why I also talked about Luis Nares. I didn't think that he was the best match made for the Japanese superstar. I believe that there was bigger storylines. But I always will not take away from Luis Nares that he's a game worthy opponent. Um, he comes to fight. The kid comes to fight. And he's going to give it everything he has. At least we know that he's not going to go in there and get laid down. One or two things are going to happen in a Luis Nares fight. Either you're getting knocked out or he's getting knocked out. Pick one. One of those two things are going to happen in that kid's fight. And you want to know something? The same thing goes for the Japanese superstar. One or two things are happening in the fight. And guess what? The Japanese superstar is all out of him getting knocked out. All he got left are knockouts. So, what do you think he's going to give you? Listen, they're two explosive fighters. So, one thing I know that the fight's going to be exciting. I know that there's going to be an wow moment in the fight. The fight is very interesting in many different ways, like I told you. You know, on a night like this, you can punch your ticket into the Hall of Fame, baby. Yeah, that's the kind of fight I want to be a part of. That's the kind of fight. Those are the kind of fights and memories I want to be a part of. And as a fan, that's the kind of fight I want to watch. That's important. You know, legacy, history, these are kind of fights. Not just your everyday typical fight where that you're fighting just to move up in the ranking. I know that they're important, and if you're a fighting historic and you love to enjoy fighting, I always encourage you to watch your favorite fighter or your top prospect coming up and new fighters coming up. You know, I could always respect that. But now at this point in your career, you know, both of these fighters see the magnitude of this fight and the moments and opportunities that are presented for both men. With every victory, the Japanese superstar solidifies his spot as the top Japanese fighter in the world in their history. He's going to write his name amongst the legend, but that he is the top legend. These are things that you truly dream about as a child growing up in the sport of boxing. Did you ever think that you would meet your legend? Did you ever think that you would surpass your legend and that your very name would be put above the man you once revered as Japanese greatest fighter? Most men and women would never achieve such a status. He is this close, if not already there, among them. It just determines where he will be placed at the end of his career. So with every fight, he sets the bar. He also sets a precedent for all boxers that are watching on. And this is what kind of real hard work, dedication, and the type of champion you can become. Don't mess around. Don't go out. Don't get into car accidents. Watch what you're doing and dedicate yourself to your craft. Maybe you can achieve some shit. Fight fans, listen, it's always been a pleasure with you guys sitting here chopping it up. Love the support. Thank you for tuning in. All right, Larry. You know, the rest of you guys that are out there, let me see if I can answer a couple more of your questions. Larry, who told you that? Told me what? Yeah. Sometimes, Larry, my man, when people bring up that point about Vasily Lomachenko being a 2 Olympic gold medalist, right? 2 fucking gold medals, bro. Win 1 gold medal and leave, bro. I think that hurt Vasily Lomachenko's career as a professional boxer, if you ask me. The Olympics is every 4 years, my man. That means he won a gold medal and waited 4 fucking years to compete against in the Olympics. That's 4 years of your life you could have been fighting pro. Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko is going to have one of the fastest rises in all of boxing and one of the quickest descents in all of boxing. He's going to retire with less than 20 fights. Retire. He's 36 years old right now. I don't think he's going to hit 20 fights. Okay? And you're talking about retiring? Bro, when you have 20 fights on your record, you should be just being a contender. Yeah. That's all those years in the amateurs. 2 gold medals. The fuck are you doing that for? You're only going to get credit for 1 gold medal. I mean, you could have 5 of them. Okay, we get it. You won a gold medal. But that's not where your career was. You wasn't making millions of dollars. You know, your face on the Wheatie box, they tell you only get sponsorship. Like, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko's father, if you ask me, did him a disservice. He didn't believe in his son. Oh, no, you won 1 gold medal. I don't think you're ready. 4 more years of amateur, then win another gold medal, then I think you're ready to go pro. What the fuck? I already proved I'm the best in the world. I won the gold medal. Let's go to the pros. Bro, that's 5 years. 5 more years. I don't think he turned pro until he was in his late 20s. Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. He was headed into 30 already. Like, it was fucking ridiculous, man. So those 2 gold medals, bro, they're good. That's a good award. It's a good accolade. But aren't those 2 gold medals for 3-round action? You didn't get that's amateur boxing. That's 3 rounds. Yeah, you got a gold medal, bro. You went 6 rounds to achieve that. Separately. That ain't no world title. Floyd Mayweather got a bronze medal. And he went down as one of the greatest champions in the world. Put those 2 gold medals against his achievements. See how that works out for you. It was just too much, bro. I mean, you know, I'm never going to say that a gold medal is not an achievement. That's a fucking achievement. 2 gold medals, great. You know, that's fucking awesome. You know, but at what price? At what price did you stay in the Olympics and do all this shit for too long? At what price? Now look at you. You trying to chase down young men in Devin Haney. You 36 years old. You fighting once a year. Your career's almost started and you just got here. And now you leaving because you're too old? At what price? That gold medal shit, bro. He's 1 gold medal, bro. I'm out. I'm gone. Look at them Cuban superstars. When they released them from Cuba, because, mind you, if a Cuban superstar competes in the Olympics and let's say he takes off, right? Yeah, you could take off from the Olympics and you could run to America. I'm free, right? What the Cubans do back home, they shoot your family down. Yeah, so they're on their way to your mom's house. The military is going to shoot your little sister, your brother, your mother, your father, because you guys are traitors. Your family name has been banded as traitors now to Cuba. That's why they're not reluctant to just escape from the Olympics. And the ones that did escape, some of their family members were gunned down. Yeah, they were. And if people are telling you that that did not happen, it's a fucking lie, bro. Because they gunned them down. Okay? So when Cuba finally agrees to let these fighters transition over to America, you ever notice how old they are? By the time they transition to America, the new prospect, Cuban prospect, that they're like, oh, he's showing a lot of potential. He got gold medals in the Olympics. Blah, blah, blah. These are his first professional fights. They announce him. They announce his age. 28 years old. He's starting his professional career in America 28 years old. And he's a prospect. Bro, Cuba knows exactly what they're doing. They know exactly. They took the best years of that dude's life and had him competing for their country and winning them gold medals. By the time they said that that Cuban kid did enough for their country, his career is more than halfway over. That's why that the King Kong dude that fought Deontay Wilder was revered as a great Cuban heavyweight, right? But he was old. And between me and you, he was actually older than what they announced him. I know that for a fact. They brought his age down. And they've been doing that. He dyes his hair. All his hair is gray and shit. Yeah. And fucking, but when that Cuban dude was younger, he might have beat Deontay Wilder. But Cuba is not going to release those fighters. They going to drag them out. Bro, that dude won 2 gold medals for Cuba. And he started his professional debut in America. 28 years old. They gassed him out, baby. And they can't run from the Olympics. They will kill your family. That's your family's name has been branded as traitors. It's not like when a Dominican athlete bears off. The Dominican people will not gonna do that. They're not gonna kill your family. The nigga took off. You know, if he gets caught, they're gonna extradite his ass, right? But he's gonna have a hard time like getting signed to the major league, right? In the major league, you know how the major league in money is. They start putting, all of a sudden the dude wakes up tomorrow, he got a green card. You know how they do. If you can throw a fastball 100 miles plus per hour, you're stamping a visa, right? You know how it is, right? But in Cuba, they got this thing with America that they don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with them. These dudes has been driving in cars from the 1957s, and that's how it is. I don't make the rules. I don't do anything. But what I do know is sports, right? And sports moments that I do not forget. Do you guys remember the time where it was Cuba, right? They had their soccer team, right? The dude kicked the goal to the Cuban guy kicked the goal to his own goalie. He kicked the ball to him so that the goalie can catch the ball and then throw the ball out, right? The score was 0-0, bro. The Cuban dude kicked the ball to his goalie and it went past his goalie and scored the goal. In soccer, they don't give a fuck whether it was an accident or not. If that ball crosses the goal line, that point counts. They lost that game because of his blunder, right? They shot him down in Cuba. They shot him, I think it was. You guys can look this shit up, right? I remember this was a long time ago when this happened, man. It was so long ago. I think they shot his coach, him. I'm not sure if they shot members of his family, but they gunned that boy down, bro. And that was some real shit. And it was like a moment in sports. I remember them talking about it and shit. It was some big shit or some shit like that. But they don't fuck around when it comes to shit like that. So that's why those boxers, Cuban baseball players, all them people, you see them in the Olympics and you might ask yourself, why don't they just leave? Why don't they just run, right? Mom's probably watching you fight on TV, surrounded by their military, waiting for you to come back. Yo, that's some fucked up shit there. But that's the sport of competition and what some of these people are not willing to do. You see, by releasing some of these Cuban athletes, if they were the best in the world, you're releasing them to America. He's going to represent the American flag, not the Cuban flag. He no longer lives in Cuba. He's out here. And then, like, some people that come to America still want to represent your flag. America's so cool about it. They're like, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Do his flag, right? As of according right now, and the champions in boxing record, America has 19 world champions in the men's division. We got the most world champions throughout all of boxing, all the divisions. But there's a big but. We don't have our biggest fighter right now. Our biggest champion right now is Jamal Charlo. He's our biggest champion. He weighs the most. David Benavidez is listed as an American fighter, but we all know he'll throw up the Mexican flag or the red one, right? Okay. So, Bandera Roja is he was born in America though. So technically he is an American fighter. If you want to get technical, he is an American fighter. Okay? If we count Bandera Roja, okay, the Mexican monster, it's in his fucking name. He's not freaking US, but if we count him, our biggest fighter, our heaviest fighter would be him at 168. We do not have any American heavyweight champions. We do not have any cruiserweight heavyweight champions. And we don't have any American champions under that currently right now in boxing. We don't run none of that. The Russians and the UK or Europeans run all of the top heavier weight divisions. You got a Russian playing to be a Canadian, and Arthur Benavidez, right? He's fighting out of Canada, but he's a Russian by birth, right? You got Usyk, Tyson Fury, all those guys, all the crews. We don't run none of that. Where the Americans are most dominant in the sport of boxing currently today, it's not always like this because it always fluctuates. But as of right now, we are the most dominant from 147 and you could count 154 because even though Jamal Charlo, he only has 2 belts now, he still fucking got the belts, right? So from 154 down, those divisions, not in every division, we make the most noise, the Americans, because Terrence Crawford had all 4 belts at 147, and even if you strip him of that belt and give it to Jaron Boots Ennis, who's Jaron Boots Ennis? An American fighter. So we have all 4 belts still at 147, the Americans. We still have all the titles basically at 135. 2 of them were vacated. Shakur Stevenson is an American fighter, okay? Now Vasil Hitek Lomachenko and them, until they fight for them, they're not up, okay? The 130-pound weight division, do we have a champion there? No. As we could start going down, we start losing a lot of champions. I forget what it is, but I believe it's 19. We have 19 world champions total. We are leading the way. Mexico right now has currently 9 world champions, and I'm not counting interim world championships. I do not count interim world championships, okay? So if you have a fighter and you're counting him and you're saying, oh, that guy's a champion, I don't count that guy. You have to have a real world championship, okay? The Japanese guys, they have a few world champions there, okay? Nakatoni, Naoya Inoue, Naoya Inoue's kid brother. There's another one at 108. He has 2 belts. So Japan has quite a few Japanese fighters in their own right, okay? As well as the Russians, the Ukrainian. They're at the top of the food chain right now. Ukraine is actually leading the way in boxing. Whoever owns the heavyweight championships of the world, you are top dog. There's no disputing that. Might not make the most money, but you're top dog. Okay? And it's important for the Americans, I believe, to obtain one of those belts. Cruiserweight, heavyweight, we need somebody to get up there and make some noise. We really do. You know, it's been quite some time since Dante Wilder, you know, ever since he failed. And just before him, there were really no American fighters. You know, we have a couple good prospects coming up, but we need a piece of those belts up there. You know, Terrence Crawford can't keep holding this torch by himself. I strike that, and I'm gonna take that back because Devin Haney's doing a fucking phenomenal job by his side for the American team. Devin Haney, you know, Devin Haney is showing that he really wants to already go up to the 140-pound weight division and challenge some of the existing champions there. In fact, you know, who Subriel Matias is gonna fight now. And what Devin Haney's going to do at this point right now in his career, you know, all time is going to tell. And these matches are going to start coming out. So, yeah. Hopefully. What's up, all right? That's. What is? All right, what's dirty as fuck, bro? They shot him in a bar. 400 amateur fights, only one loss. We're talking about Teofimo Lopez, right? Yeah, it hurted him in a sense. Military. American fighters only fight for money here in Europe. Many fighters go. Remember we're talking about Adrian Broner, bro. That's a sad story right there, bro. There's a man in that had all the talent in the world, but bought too much into the facade of living like he thought Floyd Mayweather actually lived like that. He didn't understand. Mayweather didn't have the time to explain to him this is an act, okay? And you ever want to see you or me prove that? Just go to social media right now and look Floyd up, right? You're probably going to see him on social media, TikTok or something, with his grandson, his little grandson. Did you see the new one with him with the marshmallows, trying to give his grandson some marshmallows? Ask yourself one question. What do you see different about Floyd in that video? See if you could recognize it. There's no gold, no jewelry, no bling bling, no rings, no necklaces, no earrings, nothing. He got quality shit on because he's a fucking millionaire, right? And the little man's looking fly as shit, right? Of course. You know, that's his grandson. But no jewelry. Whenever Floyd has a fight scheduled, that's when all the jewelry comes out. He's selling a fight. He has to put on that face, his promotional antics. Now he starts to swear. Now you see him throwing money. You see the women all around him entering the club. But what they don't show you is him walking out the back door of the club, putting on his sneakers, and him jogging while the car goes slow in front of him. He got TMZ and all of them to take pictures of him entering the club. He's got that image out there. That's what you think of him. Oh, the fighter that's fighting against him goes, Floyd's inside of the club. He's not training. Gimmicks. Floyd's. Mental warfare. That's what Floyd was about. Don't you know Floyd don't smoke? He don't drink. He's never done any drugs. What the fuck are you doing in a bar if you don't smoke, drink? Never. Floyd has never drunk alcohol in his life. He ain't never smoked a blunt, ain't never smoked a cigarette. But all of a sudden, he wants you to think he's in a nightclub throwing money. Okay, ironically, why the fuck is Floyd Mayweather in a nightclub when he owns a stripper club? Floyd Mayweather owns one of the biggest strip escort services in Las Vegas. He owns that shit, right? But yet, he's in a nightclub where he don't drink, he don't smoke, and he don't need none of these bitches. Yo, it was all a gimmick, all a ploy. That's all he did. And Adrian Broner bought too much into that. Adrian Broner fell victim to that. Men like that thought that when they went out and had too much of a good time, they didn't want the good night to end. And they forgot what got them there, the hard work. And they thought just because they were a superior athlete and they were just clearly dominating everybody, that they could lack in their preparation and they would be able to get by. But they didn't understand at this level is when you got to be the sharpest. Adrian Broner took losses in bad moments inside of a ring, and it's going to always reflect him as a fighter because he didn't stay disciplined. And that's a sad case of a man being revered among one of the greatest skilled fighters in the world, and they were talking your name at one point in time next to a man like that, and that's how your story ends? I can't say that. You know what I'm saying? So people, man. Oh, how they treating them? Oh, that's what you were saying about it? That's dirty as fuck. How they treat the Cubans? It's a brutal world, brother. It is a brutal world. Yeah. America has no say on what they do over there. We have no treating. Why you think when they say the phrase, you smoking a Cuban cigar? That's illegal, bro. You can get a Fed case for smoking Cuban cigars. Our president deemed them, yo, oh, you said no to us? We gonna cut you off. That's how America works. That's how business works. Whatever it was, I don't really know what was happening. I heard a lot of stories, but I'm not co-signing none of them. When Fidel, all that shit, I wasn't in the room, bro. America could be lying to us. As we found out, they've been lying to us for quite some time about a lot of stuff, right? But what I do know they don't not lying about is a lot of those cases where men and women have tried to escape from Cuba, come to America, pitch in a World Series, and while they were pitching in the World Series or playing in whatever sport, they would notify them that their family was just executed. Not just one member, probably the entire family. It's, yo, man. And the American can hide this from you. They can say, oh, no, this never happened. I don't give a fuck who says this doesn't happen. I am a Latin man, bro. And trust me, I'm telling you, I might not been right next to the firing squad, but I am telling you 100% fact, bro. That happens. They will kill your family in Cuba, bro. If you try to leave. That's not no secret. That's no secret, man. But that's how the world works, man. You know, you don't want to give your athlete to the rival because you're paying them more. And in Cuba, they have a system where everybody's given like equal shares. It might be real low. You know, there are some people that are financially well off and they live on certain sides and they get different amenities, but they also got the money to pay to the Cuban government. You see? So where that, you can't just be over exceeding your neighbors out there, so to speak. You have 5 loaves of bread and he only has half a loaf of bread, you know, on some type shit. They're gonna take all your loaves and divide them in between everybody on that type shit, right? So just because you're not paying your athletes X, Y amount of money doesn't mean that he can take off and just go over here and say, fuck you. They're not going to play that with you. You know, it's a tough world, brother. It really is. But back to boxing. Yeah, we have a lot of great fights scheduled. I've been chopping it up with you for now quite some times. I can't really wait to see this Jamie Ortiz fight with Teofimo Lopez, because once that smoke settles there, I believe Devin Haney is going to be right in position right around that time where that more negotiations there at the 140 is going to start to, play out. Tank Davis right now, he just really needs to secure his legacy at 135 and stop putting his nose in business that does not belong to him anymore. He had his opportunity at 130. He didn't shoot his shot. Stop calling Devin Haney's name at 140 when right now you need to solidify yourself at 135. So that's how I feel about that. He had his chances. They had more than enough chances to fight each other at 135. Don't come up to 140 with the same song and dance. So hey, it is what it is. Okay, so yeah. If you guys got anything else you guys want to talk about, shoot me a text real quick before I cut this show right here short. I believe I touched on a lot of things upcoming in boxing, but like I said to you guys, I am working on bringing you something for Naoya Inoue. I'm going to try my best to get this done. I really want... I'm shooting for the stars here, but you got to. If you're not, then, hey, it is what it is. This is how I'm trying to do it. And if you ain't shooting for the biggest interviews, then why the fuck do it, right? So wish me luck on this, man. But, yeah, a lot of these fights right now that are up and coming, they're going to start to move a lot, because if they want the Japanese superstar to go out to the desert, right, what's setting a precedent for that fight, right, mind you, Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou had signed to fight out there as well. Tyson Fury and Usyk is also signed, because Tyson Fury still has that contract with them. Mind you, let's all keep this in mind. I've never heard them say that they gave Tyson Fury's passport back to him. I believe Tyson Fury can't fight in America. So you guys do know this, right? You guys do know he's not allowed in America because of some shit with some Irish mob bosses and shit that they were looking for, that he was in connection with. Promotional boxing companies, right? Some Callahans or some shit like that, right? I forget the name, right? So Tyson Fury, he can't fight in America. He can't fight in Las Vegas. So the Saudis was like, hold up. One of the biggest cash cows in boxing right now can't fight in America. Las Vegas, where the big money is. What we'll do is we'll build a stadium out here and we'll bring the fights out here to the desert. And this Prince dude got so much money that it's retarded, right? That, like, for instance, the type of money he put into building that stadium, right? Which even Bob Arum admitted, right? The arena that they built in 3 months out there in the desert, if you was to ask them to build that same arena in New York City, it would take them 3 years to build that fucking arena in New York City. They built that out in the desert in 3 months, right? Not only that, right? But the fight that they were hosting was Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, right? Out in the desert. The amount of money that Prince must have spent to fly in all those champions and their wives and family, put them up in hotels, feed them, right? All the people that basically, like between all the boxing promoters, cut all the networks, the pay-per-view, there's no way on God's green earth that Prince made money in that fight. I don't give a fuck what he tells me. They lie all the time just to cover their numbers. I do not care what that man tells me, what he looks. He can show me receipts. I'll be like, those receipts are fake. If you're trying to tell me that you made $1 over what you paid for that fight, there's no way. There's no fucking way on war. There's no way that he made $200 million in that fight. No way. How much money did he pay to build that arena? And to have people working around the clock for 24 hours for 3 months. Because that's what they did. Right? Not only did he build that arena, he had a small one built outside for the lower fights, right? Because you remember, while fighting, they were fighting in a separate arena outside. The arena that Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou fought in, they were the first men to ever step in it. Remember, they had their own separate arena. So these motherfuckers made a state-of-the-art arena. AC in the desert. They got water out there, jacuzzi. They got plants inside of the place. All these lights. They got all kinds of movie stars, athletes. They had Ronaldo sitting next to the Prince. Right there. Right? How much money did he spend to bring all these people together? There's no way on God's green earth he made that back on pay-per-view sales for a Francis Ngannou fight. Leading into the fight, everybody was saying was a spectacle that nobody was going to really want to watch. We didn't admit we wanted to watch it, but we watched it, right? But I bet you a lot of people stole it, right? Rather than paying to see that fight. That's why I say there's no way, no fucking way on God's green earth that fucking Prince dude made $1 on that fight. He lost money in that fight. While losing money, the first words out of his mouth were, "We're doing it again. We're doing it again." That was nothing to him. Bro, a little chump change. That shit fell out of his pocket. Yeah. We went like this. Here, put it together. Put it together. I'm good. That's what he did. That man got money, bro. So when you got a man like that can have that kind of money, it's hard to compete against him. And it's hard to say no to his offers. If he's offering the Japanese superstar that kind of money, that's hard to say no to, and I can see it. You know what I mean? So, look, fight fans, I hope this video was educational, and I hope we got through some shit. Oh, you know he did. You know that they broke him off. Yo. They got money, bro. They not fucking around. They're not doing it to gain $1. They're doing it to get people to come out there to the desert to chill out with them. They're in the desert. They ain't nothing but sand. They might be bored. They might be the boredest people with the most shit surrounded by the most desert in the world with the most sand. Because as far as your eyes can see, it ain't nothing but desert. Ain't no tropical seas. Ain't no trees. Just camels. They bored. They like, yo, we got the money. Why don't you guys come out here and hang out with us? We'll pay for everything to come here. But if you leave that resort or you leave their little city, ain't nothing but desert. You know? But they got that money, baby. So they can bring ice to the desert. When you can do that, yeah, you know. But that's awesome. That's fucking awesome that them dudes are stepping in and saving boxing in a sense. Because if they didn't do it, who is gonna do it? Who is gonna build a stadium that fast just to have a fight scheduled for a man that can't fight in the United States? Because that's why they did it. Because Tyson Fury can only have so many places where he can fight. And if that venue, that was the biggest venue in that month, was penciled in, guess what, Mr. Tyson Fury? You're not going to fight. And his deadline was going further and further back. Yo, the Saudis really saved that man. They gave him a lifeline. They said, bro, we will build you a stadium just to agree to fight with us. He said, you going to build me a stadium? They said, we'll build you a stadium. He said, what kind of stadium? A big one. He said, all right, we'll fight. Yeah. Yo, and then Jessica, camels. Yo, that shit is state of the art AC, bro. Them Saudis got money. They got a jet fuel AC. Yo, it must be hot as shit. Why you think them dudes always wearing them turbans? Right? They be like religious reasons, but if you out there in that sun, that desert sun is beating on your head every day, 30 years of that kind of sun beating on your head can't be good for you. It can't be. Yo, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you go down south, the further you go down south in Florida, the more you can't understand how they talk. Let me tell you how them gators. That's all you understand. Gator. I'm like, yo, what the hell? You know what I mean? So it goes to show you. On the monster, it says that my YouTube channel, some shit error YouTube. So I think that my channel might have shut off and I'm not even realizing it. I got some message shit here. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, but the further you go down on Florida and stuff, the further, you know, I don't think the sun is shit, right? But it goes to show you, man, they're really stepping in, showing interest in the sport of boxing. And they're showing that they're not afraid to take a loss on money. They're not afraid to invest in the sport, you know, and that's good. That's really good for the sport. When they're not doing it for the money, but doing it for that we as fans can get these kind of fights and shit. And it's just great. It's just great. You know, I'll take it. You know, just like I said, who else was going to do this? Had it not been for them, we don't get that fight. Now, we might not get some of these other fights neither. So, listen, fight fan, we still here? Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Because I got this freaking thing up here on mine. And it's making me feel like you guys are not here. All right, so, yeah, man. You know, I made a great video right now. You know, let me know what you guys think about the monster and where he goes from here with Luis Naris. And do you feel like, you know, Japan, they kind of like blew up this Luis Naris punishment thing. I believe he deserves some form of punishment, a life ban punishment, a little extreme for my, you know, for me to be like, yeah, he deserved that. It was just a bit extreme. Okay, I believe that he should have been, you know, punished, but not to that degree. Uh, and then the way that they're not showing that they're hiding what they're doing. It's not like they're saying, okay, you can fight this guy here, and then your next fight, you got to fight our Japanese guy. No, they're lifting it for one sole purpose, so that Naoya Inoue can fight him, because that's the guy that said yes. And to please their Japanese superstar, and them knowing what the Japanese superstar is about, seeing their moment and opportunity, that's just wrong on so many levels. They can see it as revenge or whatever, but that is you being biased, showing favoritism to a particular fighter, and favoritism is not always in a right way. You can show favoritism towards a fighter in the wrong way, in negative. And you guys are being biased towards him. You guys might not like him for what he did, and what he actually did was beat your Japanese superstars, and you guys were butthurt behind that. And that's what it was. And you took the fact that he beat your guy to give him this life ban. And that was just bullshit. And we could all see through it. You only lift it to fight this guy? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's a hit. That's a hit. Like I said, Luis Darius is going to be going in there. They're going to be like, it's a trap. No, it's a trap. you know? you know? Bam Rodriguez against Bam Rodriguez? Listen, you can put Fulton in Philadelphia. You can put Fulton in Miami. You could have Fulton fight the Naoya Inoue on the moon. He's still going to lose. You could put Fulton fighting in front of his mama. He going to get his ass whooped in front of his mama. He's not on the Japanese superstar's level. And I'm not sure if he's going to catch him. See, as Stephen Kubo Fulton would be in the lab getting good now, the problem is that the monster doesn't take any breaks. Had he been the type of fighter that'll take a year-long vacation, I think Stephen Kubo Fulton would be able to catch him. It would be a better fight. But at this rate, the Japanese superstar is not taking his foot off the pedal. Just like Stephen Kubo Fulton's in the lab getting better, the Japanese superstar is just getting that much better. By the time Stephen Kubo Fulton reaches a level that you feel that he's good enough to fight him again, guess where the Japanese superstar's level is going to be? Even that much more bigger. It would probably be both better fighters, but on the same level, and it would probably be the same fight again, or much worse for Stephen Kubo Fulton. At this point, you're not going to be able to catch the type of fighter that the Japanese superstar is. He's just truly dedicated, and he's not taking any time off. So he's going to be getting better. Every day that passes that Fulton gets better, that's one more better day for the Japanese superstar. And if you're counting it in his head that your Stephen Kubo Fulton is just going to get better, then you're stopping to put in the equation that the Japanese guy's getting better. You're just keeping him at the same level in your head. It's just going to be that much better. He's going to destroy him again. I wouldn't want to see that fight again, come to think about it. I think Stephen Kubo Fulton can take something from that fight, learn from that fight, but stay away from that fight if he wants to stay champion. Okay, he can beat everybody else, but not that guy. And you know what the worst thing about fighting a guy that already beat you is? Is that, answer me this, let's be honest. If you fight a guy and you beat him, you go to fight him again, are you going to be that much confidence on beating that guy again? Do you think it'll be easier for you to beat that guy again? If you just beat his ass and he come around next month talk about rah, would you be more confident? And the fact that he didn't just beat Stephen Kubo Fulton, he's the first man to knock him out. So you just didn't lose to this guy This man put you on your back. That's in the back of your mind. It's not going to be as easy as people think. Oh, Stephen Kubo Folds is going to go up, gain weight. He's going to get strong. He's going to get better. And he's going to fight the monster. So what the fuck you think the monster's been doing this whole time? Just fucking off? He's going to be just as good. Bro, he's going to knock him out faster. If I fight somebody and knock him out, come on. Redemption. He laughed. Yo, they need forward to. Yo, listen. I think that the best fight right now, okay, we already discussed this, that whoever owns the WBO at 126 would be where the Japanese superstar is going to set his eyes on. Being the fact that Espinosa, he's not the greatest fighter in the world, but he has some traits most fighters don't have. Do you see how tall and lengthy that man is? That could be a problem. That can be a problem. When you're fighting a guy that is that much shorter than you than that, he can really smother the Japanese superstar's arson. And he can hit him from so far away. Okay? If he learned how to utilize Espinosa, that height and that reach, it can make up for the lack of skill that he doesn't have against the Japanese superstar. See? So that coming into it, that height and reach could present him a lot of trouble. So he might be willing to go another way if one of the other champions agrees to want to fight him, the Japanese superstar, okay? Being that fact right there, which one of the champions would fight him? And out of all the champions right now, I think Ray, he'll fight him. Vargas, right? I believe he'll fight the Japanese superstar if he still has the belt. Okay, because I'm not going to even be saying any of this because we don't even know who's going to be there after this fight in May. Who's still going to be at the 122? Who's still going to be the Kings at 126, Okay, who's still going to be there? Okay, Ramirez, does he get another shot at Espinosa? Will he win his belt back? Will he be the WBO champion by the time the Japanese superstar gets there? These are a lot of things that when the time comes, we're going to have to address them as the fights go on, unfortunately, because it's going to get tough for this kid. It's going to get really tough to get him opponents. I'm just having a hard time right now thinking of a worthy opponent with a good name that can get him that $69 million in the desert. Who the hell is he going to fight for $69 million in the desert? Who are they going to get? King Kong? Who the hell are they going to get? I don't know. I don't think Marlon Tapales is worth $69 million. I mean, MJ. I don't think MJ is worth $69 million. Who the hell do you see as a fighter that's worth, I guess the Japanese superstar might be worth it by himself, but if I was fighting him, I want some of that money. So who's deserving at a small crack a piece of that pie? Who got to help me? One of you guys, give me a fucking name. Tell me something. Tell me something I don't know, because it ain't Brandon Figueroa. I tell you that much. You know what I mean? All right, what's up, baby? What you got to say here? Yeah, man. Espinosa has a fucking iron chin. Did you see some of them shots that boy hit him with, Ramirez? Did you see? Yo, he sat him down numerous of times. And for that Mexican to get up and show real grit, bite down on the mouthpiece, and keep going forward. Like sometimes your fighter's hurt and you want to stop the fight or whatever, and you got to look at the fighter's body language. Is he still in the fight? Is he punching strong enough? Sometimes you could watch your fighter go down, but obviously their corner knew who this kid was. And they said, he's been hurt before. He can pull through this. And they betted on their fighter. Because some coaches and stuff would have been like, listen, kid, let's pack this shit up. We'll live to see another day. They were telling Espinosa in the corner, yo, we're about to stop it. And he was like, nah, you ain't stopping this. And he just kept going. And not only was he kept going, he was hitting those powers with enough pop that they were breaking him Rosie down. They weren't like pop shots. He must have been putting some pop to them shots because he broke that man down. And that's a world champion. Cuban champion. Look how old he is. Anyway, right? So it goes to show you that, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about Espinosa, and I'm not going to even fake like I do. I won't do that to a fighter, because it'll put me in a situation where that I'm guessing and I might say some shit I'll regret, right? So what he showed me in that fight spoke volumes. So for the very little that I do know about him and what I seen in his fight, the kid got an iron chin. He's got spunk, okay? He's tough, okay? He's got no quit in him. You're going to have to detach him from his senses completely in order to finish him. If he has a little bit of fight left, he's going to get up and fight. That's what kind of warrior spirit he has inside of him, and it's been battle tested, okay? Whether or not that I feel that he came back in that fight and won the fight, I think he started to captivate the crowds. The guy coming back in the fight, the Rocky story. I think a lot of people got captivated in the moment. I'm not sure if I can go down on record saying that I feel like he won the fight hands down, coming back like that. I just think that Rosie lost concentration. He lost his pace in the fight. At one point in the fight, he thought he had Espinosa finished, and he stepped on the gas in a way that kind of left him vulnerable. Espinosa, what he did very well in the fight is that he didn't let him get his second win. He wanted him to earn his second win in the fight. He kept that kind of pressure where that he kept his brain rattling and he kept his body with punches to the body. He kept checking the body. So when Ramirez was looking for somewhere in the ring to hide, to get a break, all he needed was that, 15, 20 seconds where he can just, start to like slow down, catch his breath, allow his second win to come in. Espinosa didn't give him that chance. He kept the pressure on him. And that's the one good thing he did really good in the fight. And I got to take my hats off to him, because, seizing the moment. You're not going to know what a fighter's really meant, what he's about, until he's put in those kind of situations. And when he's put in those kind of situations is when you're going to find out who and what your fighter's made of. And Espinosa showed that he belongs here on this level, on this world stage. Whether he keeps the belt long enough or reign, time will tell. But no one, and I mean no one, will ever take away that night from him and his name out of those record books that he is a world champion. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked was long, for a long time. I hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, any fighters, leave them in the comments. Let me know. And I have no problem coming on and chopping it up about what your favorite fighter is and who he is. So please, like always, please like the videos. If you guys can take your time out right now and just reach down and click that like button, help this video get out into the algorithm. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you're new watching the channel. Like always, family, I'm on to the next one.